Good morning, and we're in chapter 8, and we just finished with Achor and his family. Achor had taken something accursed, and they'd gotten rid of the accursed thing out of the camp. And now they're going to try, this is AI version 2, I guess. And the Lord said unto Joshua, Fear not, neither be thou dismayed. Take all the people of war with thee. This time they're going to take everybody. They're not going to take any chances just taking part of their group to fight these people. And plus the Lord is saying, you do it. Remember, here's the words, fear not as well. That keeps coming up. Arise and go up to Ai. See, I have given unto thee thy hand the king of Ai, and his people, and his city, and his land. And thou shalt do to Ai and her king as thou didst unto Jericho and her king. Only the spoil thereof, notice the difference, only the spoil thereof and the cattle thereof shall ye take for a prey unto yourselves. Lay thee an ambush for the city behind it. See, the Lord said, Jericho is my tithing. Everything is either destroyed or given to into the treasury of the temple or the tabernacle. But now he's saying, well, you can destroy everything except the cattle, which you can take for yourselves as a spoil. See, the Lord knows what he's doing. They could have had this a long time before, except for one person decided that they didn't need to follow the covenants which they made to the Lord. So Joshua rose up and all the people of war to go against Ai, and Joshua chose out 30,000 mighty men of valor, a lot more than 3,000, 4,000, and sent them away by night. Notice what they do here. And he commanded them, saying, Behold, ye shall lie in wait against the city, even behind the city. Go not very far from the city, but be ye all ready. Do we hear some things from the Book of Mormon when Captain Ronai hides his armies, or Helaman and the stripling warriors, and the armies to use stratagem to take a city. I and all the people that are with me will approach the city, and it shall come to pass that when they come out against us, as at first, we will flee before them. So they're saying, oh, they've seen this before, so they will see it again. They think that, oh, we're just sending a few people out. And so they will come out after us till we have drawn them from the city, for they will say, they flee before us as at first. Therefore, we will flee before them. Then ye shall rise up from the ambush and seize upon the city, for the Lord your God will deliver it into your hands. And it shall be, when ye have taken the city, that ye shall set the city on fire, according to the commandment of the Lord shall ye do. See, I have commanded you. Joshua therefore sent them forth, and they went to lie in ambush and abode between Bethel and Ai, on the west side of Ai. But Joshua lodged that night among the people. And Joshua rose up early in the morning and numbered the people and went up, he and the elders of Israel, before the people of Ai, and all the people, even the people of war, were with him, went up and drew nigh and came before the city and pitched on the north side. And that just means they put their tents up and things. Now there was a valley between them and Ai, and he took about 5,000 men and set them to lie in ambush between Bethel and Ai on the west side of the city. Remember, this is it's a little bit more than what they had before, but Ai was able to push them back before they feel that they could do it again if they get enough manpower out. And because of their previous win, they seem to have plenty of people to do it. And when they had set the people, even all the host that was on the north of the city, and their liars in wait, that just means that they're waiting to come out, those in ambush, on the west of the city, Joshua went that night into the midst of the valley, and it came to pass the king of Ai saw it, and they hasted and rose up early, and the men of the city went out against Israel to battle, and he and all his people. Notice he's not taking any chances. He says, let's all go and do it. All the warriors and things, let's go out there at a time appointed before the plain. But he didn't know that there were liars in ambush against him behind the city. And Joshua and all Israel made as if they were beaten before them, and fled by the way of the wilderness. So it didn't take long before they say, "Oh, let's retreat," because that's what they wanted. They wanted to take the people away, and all the people that were in Ai were called together to pursue after them. And they pursued after Joshua and were drawn away from the city. And there was not a man left in Ai or Bethel that went not out after. So it's not just Ai, but it's also Bethel that went not after Israel. And they left the city open and pursued after Israel. And the Lord said unto Joshua, stretch out thy spear that is in thine own hand toward Ai, for I will give it into thy hand. And Joshua stretched out the spear that he had in his hand toward the city, and the ambush arose quickly out of their place, and they ran as soon as he had stretched out his hand. And they entered the city and took it, and hasted, and set the city on fire. That's the whole point. They wanted to make the city on fire. And when the men of Ai looked behind them and saw, and behold, the smoke of the city ascended from up to heaven, they had no power to flee this way or that way. The people that fled in the wilderness turned back upon their pursuers. So now they've got people in their city. They've got people on both sides of them attacking them. They're trapped. And when Joshua and all Israel saw that the ambush had taken the city, and that the smoke of the city ascended, then they turned again and slew the men of Ai. And the other issue, and the other issued out of the city against them, so that they were in the midst of Israel, some on this side, some on that side. And they smote them, so that they let none of them remain or escape. And the king of Ai they took alive and brought him to Joshua. And it came to pass that when Israel had made an end of slaying all the inhabitants of Ai in the field in the wilderness, wherein they chased them, when they were all fallen on the edge of the sword until they were consumed, that all the Israelites turned unto Ai and smote it with the edge of the sword. And so it was that all that fell that day, both of men and women, were 12,000, even all the men of Ai. That is a lot of people. And we can look at, well, they're not listening to the gospel, and they're not living the way they would, and they were very willing to slay the children of Israel as well, as we've seen. But it still can draw our heartstrings to think of so many people who have died, but the Lord said that they had their opportunities as well. For Joshua drew not his hand back, wherewith he stretched out the spear until he had utterly destroyed all the inhabitants of Ai. Only the cattle and the spoil of that city Israel took for a prey unto themselves, or the spoils of war, according to the word of the Lord, which he commanded Joshua. And Joshua burnt Ai and made it an heap forever, even a desolation unto this day. And the king of Ai he hanged on a tree until eventide, and as soon as the sun was down, Joshua commanded that they should take his carcass down from the tree and cast it at the entering of the gate of the city, and rise thereon a great heap of stones that remaineth unto this day. What a horrible, ignominious death. Then Joshua built an altar unto the Lord God of Israel on the mount of Ebal, and Moses the servant of the Lord. Now there is a thing in the right hand corner there about this. What occurred on Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal? After the Israelites defeated the people of Ai, Joshua gathered them to Shechem, which was in the valley between Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal. Here Joshua carried out the instructions Moses had given at the end of his mortal life. Joshua built an altar on Mount Ebal, offered sacrifices, and wrote a copy of the law of Moses on the stones. Then half the tribes of Israel stood on Mount Gerizim, and the other half on Mount Ebal. The Levites, bearing the ark of the covenant, stood in the valley between the two mountains. Joshua then recited actions that would result in the blessings and those that would result in curses as designated by God, and the Israelites responded by saying amen. This was a ceremony of a covenant renewal for the Israelites in the Promised Land. It shares similarities to the establishment of the covenant at Mount Sinai and the Lord's covenant made with Abraham. The Israelites again participate in a similar ceremony at Shechem toward the end of Joshua's life. Of this latter ceremony, Elder Neil A. Maxwell taught, it was in the context of this great visual of teaching Joshua, of teaching that Joshua spoke the line for which he is best remembered. Choose you this day whom you will serve. But the first alternatives were made clear graphically and audiovisually. Seeing these valleys and seeing where they were, that is what's important. And I think it's important that what they're doing is they're not going through destroying all these people and that's it. They've got the land, they've killed all the people. They're stopping and remembering the Lord. They need to stop and remember the Lord. So, we'll start. As Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded the children of Israel, as written in the book of the law of Moses, an altar of whole stones over which no man hath lifted up any iron, and they offered thereon burnt offerings unto the Lord, and sacrificed peace offerings. And he wrote there upon the stones a copy of the law of Moses, and he wrote in the presence of Israel, the children of Israel. And Israel and their elders and their officers and their judges stood on this side of the ark and on that side of the ark before the priests of the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, as well as the stranger, as he was born amongst them, half of them over against Mount Gerizim, and half of them against Mount Ebal, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded before, that they should bless the people of Israel. And after he read the words of the law, the blessings and the cursings, according to all that is written in the book of the law. So he followed the things that Moses had already written. And there was not a word of all that Moses commanded which Joshua read not before all the congregation of Israel. So he made sure everybody knew, with the women and the little ones and the strangers that were conversant among them. And when we say conversant, it means that walked among them. So everybody knows what is happening here. Everybody makes the covenants, and it's not about taking these cities as much as making sure that they're following what the Lord wants them to do at all times. And I hope we can do that in our own lives. Just destroying out of our hearts and souls those things that are wrong in our lives, and turning to our covenants as we do so. And we'll see how that all works together next time.